Second. Hi, everyone. This is Cricket Barrientos with Sounds of Autism. I'm here today with James Jordan and Leo Barrera from CBS Insurance, and we're going to discuss an extra insurance that we encourage families, especially those raising kids with autism that are in the first responder fields. This insurance is specifically for officers, if I'm not mistaken. Correct, Leo and James?
Yes, so this plan was designed specifically for first responders, and first responders, we've got a few classifications that allow them to qualify for this plan, but policemen, firemen, hospital workers, city workers are included, and a few other occupations, but it also extends the ability to apply for this benefit for all the spouses as well of those first responders. So it's a really kind of unique plan specifically designed for this first responder market.
And James and Leo, where are you able to serve families? Is it just Arizona or is it all over the world? Like how, I want to be able to share this. We work with people in Canada right now, and we work with people throughout the country in the United States. And so we really want to know where is this, going to be available to families?
Sure. So this particular product is available in most states in the U.S. And I believe Puerto Rico too, because we have a charter there and we sell products there. I would have to specifically check on this particular product, but we can get essentially products almost anywhere, depending on the need and what it is. But again, this product is really designed for first responders in the U.S. And they join an association that does not cost them anything to join. We just need to know that they are a first responder, so a policeman or a fireman, etc. And then what that does is allow them to apply for this life insurance. And the life insurance is heavily discounted for first responders. Personally, if I was a first responder or my wife was, we would buy this in a minute without thinking twice because the premiums are literally, I've seen them as much as 40 or 50% less expensive than a very typical or side-by-side term, but usually 20 or more, 25%, I think, is kind of the average on what they will save by purchasing one of these plans. And the underwriting is very simplified. We don't do blood work or urinalysis or parameds. We'll run a prescription check on the client, our prospective client, a DMV check, and then underwrite from the answers they give us on the application. Sometimes there will be a telephone interview required, which is very limited. They get a call from an underwriter that just verifies their name, height, weight, address, and then any information they might have put on the application if they're on meds and things like that. It's a really simple process for the consumer.
And then as far as covering, so, we have a son with autism, and then my husband is a 13-year police officer. And when I heard about this insurance and the affordability of it, it really was a trip to Starbucks. That's how I felt, or a trip to Dunkin' Donuts, just the basic plan. And I felt like this is something that, on a monthly basis, it doesn't really have any type of financial hardship, yet it does cover in case of those situations. And so I ask you, with this type of insurance coverage, is it only something that would be covered if my husband was working, or is it something that we would be covered working, or, if he was off duty?
So it is on or off the job. It is a 10-year life insurance policy, so their premiums are guaranteed for 10 years when they take it out. And to give you an example, because I know people love to get online real quick and Google and research and see what else is out there, and the best pricing and things like that. A 40-year-old male non-tobacco user for a 10-year term of $100,000 with our product is $19 a month, which they're not going to find anywhere. And I encourage people to go look. Google online and see, and you can't find a policy that cheap. If someone does, because someone always does, they'll find something. There's a lot of commercials out there that you see, from $9 a month, get a $500,000 term. We've all seen those commercials. What people don't realize is a lot of those plans, what they're saying on TV is correct. You can buy a $500,000 or whatever the number is, making things up for illustration purposes, at $9 a month. That is a policy that's called ART, which is annual renewable term. So it might be a 10 or 20-year term policy that the client cannot be canceled once they're approved, but each year the premiums go up significantly. That $9 is going to be $59 the second year, and maybe $109 the third year, and so on. Where ours at $19 for that 100,000 for the 40-year-old non-tobacco male, it's 19 every month for the first 10 years. And then the next 10 years, they'll get a new premium at that new age. For another 10 years, it'll stay the same. And it'll just keep working like that. And I believe it terminates at age 70 with this plan, so they can keep it up until age 70. So it's really affordable. They can budget and they know exactly what it's going to cost them. And there are a few different riders they can add to this. One specifically I recommend in the first responders world is our AD&D, which is accidental death and dismemberment. So if an officer or fireman has our policy and they have that rider, and that rider is a very small fraction of what the original premium is. So if it's $19, it might go up to $30 maybe, or $25. Again, I don't have all the quotes in front of me. But what that does is supply an additional amount of life insurance on top of that 100,000 were they to die from an accident. So if a first responder dies in the line of duty, that's considered an accident. So they would get sometimes double their face amount to leave to their beneficiaries. So it's a very good option that they can add. And there's a couple other options that might not be as fruitful or advantage to them. There's some children riders. If they have kids, it's great. We can, supply some life insurance there. But the base plan is really, you cannot touch the premiums and the quality for the premium at all.
And James, you brought Leo on today because Leo can help translate. He does a lot of your Hispanic community, I'm guessing, to help support families or people that might have a communication barrier and really are interested, but they're not able to communicate, so they feel uncomfortable reaching out. So you can support those families as well, correct?
Absolutely. And Leo's is kind of everything. He's the rock behind our whole operation. So he handles all kinds of things, whether it be agent outreach, client outreach, our Spanish community. He's really integral in that. In fact, we probably would not have that segment of our business without him, because there is a big communication barrier when it comes to those type of things and relationships, especially when you translate that to the insurance world. That's like a whole nother language within that language when you're talking insurance, because it's just, people aren't used to it. It's a little different, but he can handle all that. He's great with the clients, great with our agents, customer service and agent support, and really everything all the way around.
When it comes to, thank you, Leo, for participating in this, because I think it's a big portion of a lot of the communities that we serve. And I'll be sending all of this information to our mayors to facilitate out into the communities with their law enforcement and things like that. So that'll be very positive that they know that we're supporting the Hispanic population, because that's actually a larger population for us. With Sounds of Autism, we serve because we're closer to the border. So we have a lot of people coming back and forth. And we have a lot of family members in Mexico that follow us and are watching what we're doing and are very interested in possibly chartering what we do. So if you guys are in Mexico or you eventually get there, let me know, because that would be very beneficial as well. Going back, so for somebody like me, my husband gets police officer insurance and benefits and all that kind of stuff. And it's, to the highest level. I mean, they do a great job taking care of us, City of Phoenix. However, with Landon, if I were to take everything that my husband and I have saved or assets or whatever it may be and divided it by 3, all of our kids would equally get something. I wanted to have something additional for Landon because of his special need, to make sure that we really, support him and everything that he will go through long term. We don't know if he's capable of living independent. We don't know if he's capable of, working a job to sustain income and be able to afford everything. And we do have some plans out there that we're working on, but until those things really truly take, I guess we grasp and we make happen, there's still those non-guaranteed things that Landon has in his life that we need to make sure we cover. So that said, a lot of these families in the officer world would say, well, I already have great benefits. That's wonderful. Why should I do this additionally? And my response as a parent of autism and as an officer's wife would be, because you need to make sure that you're setting that child up specifically for long-term care, because many families don't think about it until the day comes and it's too late, because they could have done something that was more affordable. But because they are now 10 years later, that $19 went up and they're not able to support that. So we always encouraged people to proactively react. to situations, and this would be one of them. So what would be your response as a, insurance agent as far as why somebody should sign up for this?
So my personal, and I'll let Leo answer this as well, but one of the things that I've noticed, I've been doing insurance for over 30 years, and I can tell you that 99% of the time I see most people are underinsured. It just seems to always be the case. They always think that they have enough, and they have great benefits through their work, which a lot of work environments do provide, which is wonderful. But a lot of times through work, they're providing kind of the same amount for everyone that's at that job. So everyone might get, and I'm again making up numbers for just illustration purposes, but let's say everyone gets $100,000 or $500,000 or 250, whatever that number is, everyone gets the same. Well, every family, as you know, is completely different. There might be a family that needs quite a bit more, or maybe not even as much. But typically it's always they need more. There's just not enough set up to continue the lifestyle that they either become accustomed to or they built for themselves, or just to meet their current financial obligations. Because a lot of people just don't really kind of put all those pieces together, especially if they get insurance through work. It's more of like a cafeteria plan. They sit down, they pick it. Oh yes, I want that life insurance. 150,000 sounds good to me. And then that's what they have. And in their mind, they think they're protected and they're safe and everything's good to go. But they didn't sit down and do like an analysis and say, hey, we need 250,000 to pay off our mortgage if one of us passes away. We need another $30,000 to maybe pay off one of the or two of the cars if one of us pass away. We've got everyday living bills we have to take care of. And then when you throw in other things that are unforeseen, which there always is, that's another bill that's going to be popping up either one time or monthly. And if you have a special needs child or a parent or someone that needs care, then you're going to need funds for that as well for whoever the surviving spouse is, or if it is just the child or parent, there needs to be funds for that. So they really need an analysis done to see exactly what it's going to take for them to continue what they're trying to set up right now. So it's really important. And Leo, you can definitely add to that.
And the only thing I have to add is Ms. Cricket, is I think you mentioned one of those key words right there, long-term care. That's one of those things like Jim said, most people, when we think about our insurance, we think about, what's going to pay the doctors and the hospitals. They think about your standard stuff. Who's going to pay those bills and how much do I have to pay, out of that portion there. But what they don't think about, like Jim mentioned, is what are these unforeseen expenses? And I mean, here's a statistic: 1 in 7 Americans are going to need some sort of long-term care benefit in their lifetime, and that's not taking into account folks, folks who are on the spectrum with autism. I would assume, I think it would be reasonable to assume a lot of these folks are going to need some sort of long-term care benefit, and long-term care is one of those things where we need to have a significant benefit. We need to have a good benefit to be able to make sure that people can get the care that they need and deserve. So that's very, very important stuff. And I think we can provide all those things with the types of benefits, the types of needs analysis that we do when we sit down with people one-on-one and help them figure out, hey, here's your situation, and here are different things that you could be doing to protect yourself longevity, to be able to keep things as normal and efficient as possible for as long as possible. That's the whole point of insurance thing, isn't it? Something goes wrong, the insurance is supposed to try to make things right or try to make things as normal as possible so that we can just focus on living our lives as best as we can.
And one of the things I want to also add for this conversation specifically is, so long-term care insurance, we feel is super important, but it's very expensive. I am actually working with my mother-in-law. She is 70. I think she just about turned 70 or just turned 70. And her mother's still alive, who is getting care now. And it's outrageous for her mother. And she was like, I want to get a policy that'll cover this. And I said, we can. And of course, when we started, I showed her how much it was going to cost at her age. You can't buy it then. $700, $800, $1,000 a month. I mean, it's unaffordable at that age. But she's looking to buy that for herself to be taken care of when something happens. In our situation here, we don't have to go get a true long-term care insurance for the members. We need like a life insurance policy is a great vehicle to fund the long-term care bills for their child when something happens to them. So this is a great affordable way to do that, because we cannot put long-term insurance on the children because they're already uninsurable. But we can do life insurance on the parents, which is much cheaper than long-term care insurance that will provide funds to take care of that family member.
And you guys are all aware that we work with Justin Cairns and your team, everybody that's made up on your team. basically guide the families to understand not just wealth management and special needs trusts and things like that, but insurance policies and, you know, the legal stuff, setting up ABLE accounts and special needs trusts and things like that, so that our families ensure that they don't start saving for their child early on and then lose the opportunity to get long-term care benefits with the state or Social Security because they've already saved money or they've put money, you know, to the side for them, or grandma and grandpa are now willing the you know, the financial setup that they had for their long-term care and their benefits, so that this child now receives that. We make sure that everything is put together correctly, so that all of us benefit from this, and we're not taking away anything from our children or those that need our help long term. And I share this with you because when we raised Landon, we raised him to, you know, eat out at nice restaurants and have all these different things that he's given, you know, throughout the days and the weeks, and he gets to go and, you know, visit the zoo and all those kind of things, and those all cost money. So families, a lot of times, they'll plan to set up their child for eating out or you know, doing certain things, but they're not thinking like long term. Maybe he wants to do vacations and stuff like that when you're no longer here. So you really need to think of all of those things when you're doing this. And a lot of times families just don't think that long. It's hard to think about that day coming. And so we don't do that. But, you know, reality is, especially when you have a child with special needs, you have to make sure that you're looking at the long-term end solution. And then, you know, working on that now today, so that it is affordable and you're not spending $1,000 a month to do this type of stuff. So that said, what are the first steps for anybody that's interested in meeting with you guys? What are the first steps to connecting with you so that we can get this started for them? You know, would they reach out to you directly? Do you want them to go through Sounds of Autism? How would you like this to go, so that we can make sure that we get to the families to you as soon as possible?
I think we could do probably both. They can obviously email directly to Leo at cbsinsurance.net. So the letters C as in Charlie, B as in boy, S as in Sam, insurance all spelled out .net, and it's Leo. Yeah, CBS up behind the wall. So they
and
can
I'll add the link. I'll add the link, James. I'll add it too, so you guys.
And then if they want to reach out directly through you, because they already have that relationship and they're doing that, and you pass them over to us, that's great too. We'll set up a structure to handle all of that. And then the first responders, again, I'll give you kind of the quick hit list on the employees, or I'm sorry, the verticals that they can work in where they will be able to apply for this insurance. But it's all government employees, whether it's federal, state, county, or city level. So if they have a federal or a government job, they would qualify to be able to apply for this. First responders, which are police, fire, emergency personnel, and medical professionals. If they're in a state-funded educational institution, they would apply for this or qualify to apply for this. Railroad employees, hospital employees, airline and travel, and then citizens of a U.S. territory, you know, like Puerto Rico and such, or the Cayman Islands. And then all spouses of any of those occupations are also welcome to apply, which is a huge benefit to them, because again, they cannot find insurance price at this price point anywhere.
That's awesome. Thank you. And I'll make sure that I include the link, as I said, and, you know, share this information out there with all the different things, you know, talking about the Autism Financial Benefit and Security Squad team that you guys have, and all the different resources that we make available to our families. We say we serve at risk, especially autism. And when we talk about at risk, we talk about law enforcement, we talk about military, educators, anybody that is in medical, anybody in a field where there's high stress and could potentially cause some of the PTSDs and the different things that could potentially happen along their path. And we just want to make sure that we're serving and offering them the best solutions possible out there without them having to go and do all the investigating to find them. We vet all of our resources. You guys have been vetted, and you're doing a phenomenal job. You stuck with us over a year with helping us develop this program, and we're super grateful. And now we need to get to work and find these families and find these law enforcement agencies that have people. Yes, they do offer benefits. I do have one last question question. Do you serve military families? I know they have their own special benefits, but I know that there's some that may be looking for this. We work with EFMP, which has 600 family members on Luke Air Force Base. Is that something that they would be interested in? And the last thing would be anybody that was in military or first responder fields but retired. Are they eligible?
So the short answer is yes, we do have something. I need to check on the specifics of this product, but we do have a partner I've had for over 20 years now. He lives in outside the Las Vegas area, and his specialty is the military market. That's all he does is write military personnel, current and retired. So he does have plans that are specifically designed for the military. So yes, we do have something we can offer them for sure.
That's awesome. And then as far as retired for first responders, are they eligible as well, or is it just for people that are active at this time?
This plan is for active employees.
Okay, perfect. And we talked just about this specifically with first responders, the benefit that you can offer them. But just so our audience knows, everything you need in the insurance world can be sought out through CVS Insurance. If they don't have it, they have somebody that does. They've been doing this for 30 years. We have the confidence that they'll find them. And if they can't find them, we're all going to go and look for that person, because we want to make sure that we never leave anyone at risk. And we feel not having life insurance or the proper life insurance setups for you and your family, as well as your children, especially those with special needs, is continuing to keep your family at risk of a critical situation at the end of all of this. So we encourage everybody to find out more and seek out CVS Insurance through either our website or through the links that I'm going to be providing for you. And we thank both of you for being here today and taking your time out. I know you guys are super busy, but I really feel like this is super important to our families, as well as the community that we serve, our responder community. And we'll make sure that we get this out to them as soon as possible.
Awesome. Thank you very much. We really appreciate your time.
Thanks, guys, and I'll see you at the walk.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.